world? Back again. It is your boy VicXL with the Ridin Durty Show. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am so proud, so proud to have this beautiful, intelligent queen with me. I got to start the show by introducing y'all to my lady, my friend, not my lady, because then y'all think that's my lady. No, my homegirl, my sister, my compadre, Miss Boss Lady Bird. What up, Bird?
Hey, what up, everybody? I'm excited to be here, Vic. Like, I love working with you, so this is very awesome.
Hey, Bird, let me tell you something. I wouldn't do this with anybody else, and I got to tell the world that you are my wife's internet favorite. She loves herself some Boss Lady Bird.
Thank you so much. Shout out to Miss Vic.
All right, so Bird, I always man, you are the queen of the shorts, and I watch your shorts. You are definitely a huge fan of the 85 South show. You're deeply engulfed in what's going on with Young Thug, Free Thugger, and you're also hugely engulfed in the YNW Melly case. And I was like, you know what? Bird has her fingers on the pulse of what's going on in the world of hip hop, the world of urban culture. And I was like, who better to talk to than somebody like Bird and create content on a weekly basis about what's going on in this world of hip hop, but also give our opinions on these topics.
Absolutely. And we've been talking about doing something for a while, so I'm finally glad that we're able to figure it out and get the ball rolling with this. Like, I'm so excited.
Okay, so what we're gonna do for those who don't know, and this is I've done the Ridin Durty Show before. Shout out to everybody I've attempted to do it with in the past. You all were great co-hosts, but now Bird is sitting in the seat and we finna fly again. So Bird, the first thing I want to talk about is unless you've been under a rock, hip hop has just turned 50, and most people thought hip hop was a fad. How do you feel about hip hop being 50 years old?
I think it's wonderful. I think I wasn't very old when hip hop was born. What, like 1988? Am I wrong about that?
89. Actually, was born before 88. It was probably born like 79.
Okay, so yeah, I wasn't even born then, but it's definitely been a love of mine since I was old enough to listen to what I wanted to. Anyway.
Okay.
And it's I kind of hate what I wouldn't necessarily say hip hop, but rap has evolved to nowadays to where it's they're really living what they're singing about, and that's how a lot of them end up like R.I.P. Young Dolph and a lot of these guys, because I think back in the day with hip hop, a lot of artists used to rap about their past experiences, in the streets before they made it big. But it's now like, to me, that these artists are still living it and doing it and rap about it, and it's it causes a lot of problems and a lot of beefs and shit, to where I feel like rappers back in the day, they rapped about their old experiences, but they weren't still necessarily living that life. I don't know why once they make it in hip hop, some of them can't leave the streets alone.
Yeah, you know what's funny? When hip hop first started, and I was around. You weren't around, I was around. So I literally can remember hearing the very first hip hop record that is credited to being the first hip hop record played on the radio, which was Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. I was a child. I wasn't old. I don't want y'all to think I'm that goddamn old. But I literally remember hearing a hip, a hop, a hippie to the hip, hip, the hop. You don't stop the rock to the bang, bang, boogie.
Boogie to the boogity bang, bang, the bang to the boogity beat.
I remember hearing that as a child. And I said I had to be a part of it. Now, the thing about rap back in the day, there were a lot of artists who the rap they rapped wasn't the life they lived. A person who rings a bell in my mind is I don't know if you know a rapper named Mr. Cheeks. Mr. Cheeks had a song called "Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous." He had Lights, Camera, Action. He had a song called Renee. All his songs was really upbeat and positive, right? Well,
right, yeah.
they would tell you Mr. Cheeks was one would really do something to you. Mr. Cheeks was one of the biggest gangsters in New York, but the music he gave us would make you think he's one of the biggest partiers. So back then, it was all about having fun. And you told stories of poverty and areas that were basically viewed as detrimental areas, but that might not have been where you lived, or it was like being a reporter. You was reporting on what was going on in the streets, and living it wasn't it. And hip hop has went from being the storyteller to being the story.
Absolutely. Which
like,
back in the day, I think you've seen a little bit of it back then with like NWA and that sort of thing, maybe, but they eventually kind of moved past that. But now it's really some pardon my language, but some fuck shit.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what's funny. So Dr. Dre, and this is when I seen hip hop changing. At one point in time, when Dr. Dre was in the group NWA, a lot of y'all might not know Dr. Dre was in the group NWA, but if you didn't know, go watch the movie Straight Outta Compton. That'll give you a good history of Dr. Dre. They had a song called Express Yourself. In that song, Dr. Dre said, I don't smoke weed, don't do Buddha or cess. It's known to give a brother brain damage, and brain damage on the mic don't manage nothing. That's what he said, right? So basically, he was against smoking weed, right?
Yeah.
10 years later, he comes out with an album called The Chronic.
The Chronic, yeah.
So at that point, I said, this shit's changing. And it's continued to change, and it's where it's at now.
You started hanging out with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg was like, hey, bro, you're going to have to smoke some of this weed that says, bow, wow, wow. And it has changed. Even from the aspect of the women in hip hop being queens, having songs about, Moni in the middle, where you at? Moni in the middle. Or, just women had songs, ladies first. Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. They went from being ladies first to now rapping about pussy hole pink, booty hole brown.
I have to say, I don't listen to female artists. I used to back in the day. I really liked Da Brat and her rap, but I've never on my own will tapped in and listened to a Cardi B song ever. Never have I went on my YouTube and typed in Cardi B and listened to one of her songs. Now you hear it, just where other people, you see clips and shit. So I know what she's rapping about, and that's just not like, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care.
I'm actually, I gotta say, I'm a fan of Cardi B. I like Cardi B. You know who I really like, and it's gonna lead me into because all this is a build up to one thing. You've heard of Lotto?
Yeah. That's the
she had the song Big Dick Energy.
Yeah.
So Lotto is part of my career story. Like, I put Lotto on her very first stage when she was like 8 years old.
Oh wow.
And Lotto and my son, shout out to my son, they used to be play girlfriend and boyfriends. And so to see her right now be one of the top 5 emerging hip hop females, I'm extremely proud of her. Me and her dad still have a good relationship. But yeah, she's part of my life story. But I'm saying all this to say, because I will get long-winded, and I see that you'll ride with me being long-winded. Will Smith, who is one of what I consider the major impact players in hip hop, and he's parlayed that from being a rapper, because Will Smith, a lot of people don't know, was known as the Fresh Prince, and he did the television show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was one of the first.
Before that, though, in which why he has, do you know why he has named his podcast what he has named it?
Back for 88.
Yeah, but do you know why that's what it is?
I do classify it. I do not.
Okay, he has that 1988 was the year that Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff released their debut studio album that included Parents Just Don't Understand, which was an award winning a Grammy award winning album. So that is where the class of 88 comes from.
You know what? I feel like I should have knew that. And I don't know why I feel like it was going to be a trick. But yes, you're right. 88. And Will Smith is the first rapper to ever win a Grammy. And he kind of opened the doors for a lot of stuff that goes on today when it comes to rappers having a sitcom. He was the first rapper that, well, actually, he wasn't the first rapper to go on a sitcom, but he was the first one to have one named after him, like Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, you kind of let the cat out of the bag. Will Smith is launching a 8 episode series podcast called The Class of 88, and it will be spotlighting and highlighting a lot of historical things and talking about the history of hip hop over these 50 years. And it will feature appearances by Queen Latifah, who is now a credited Hollywood actress, Salt and Pepper, who was considered to be one of the first female hip hop groups. They are definitely the highest selling female hip hop group in the history of hip hop. Daryl DMC McDaniel, who is one of the forefathers, because he's one half of Run DMC. He is the DMC in DMC. Rest in peace to Jam Master Jay. DJ Jazzy Jeff, who was partners with Will Smith, hence the name The Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. If you ever watched the television show, Jazzy Jeff was the guy who played Jazz, who would always get through out of the house. It features Rakim, who a lot of people feel like is the greatest rapper ever, especially a lot of guys my age, and Chuck D, who was the founding member of the group Public Enemy. Will Smith has a podcast deal through Amazon Music and Audible, and it's going to start in October. I'm very excited for the podcast, and I'm excited for people can hear where hip hop came from.
And I really hope this helps Will Smith, because he seems like a great guy, and I think I think a lot of people would have did the same in his shoes if their lady was being respected. But I really hope this helps him come back from the whole Chris Rock incident.
Yeah, that situation, I wish we was doing the show when that happened. I would have loved to hear your opinion on it. And I had an opinion on the situation, and I kind of seen both sides.
I did too. And at the same time of understanding why Will did what he did, I have to commend Chris Rock on his, I want to say his reaction, but non-reaction to the situation while, being on camera at the award show and stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like he handled himself a lot better than most people would. A lot of people, that would have been like a big brawl. Like, honestly.
And I hate to say it, but culturally, a lot of African American men can't be in that position and receive that type of humiliation. That would generally end into a jail sentence, because especially me being an African American man, when opposed with force, we only know how to fight back with force. And the fact that he was able to take the higher road, I commend him for that. And I understand Will for the fact that, man, people have been dogging you and your wife relationship for so long. Unfortunately, I feel like Chris Rock just got kind of caught up in the whirlwind.
Well, and at the same time, Will and Jada put that out there. Like, they didn't have to put their business out there. They made it other people's business when they put it out there at the same time.
Absolutely. All right, so we talked about Queen Latifah, Salt and Pepper, and we talked about you mentioning that you don't listen to female rappers, but I want to talk about.
I really don't. I did rock with some Salt and Pepper back in the day, but and Trina was okay when she first come out, but like in a long time, like these female rappers, there's just like, I'd rather listen to a female country artist 10 times over a female rapper. Like, they just don't. Maybe I just can't relate. I don't know, but that's just not my bag.
Well, we're going to talk about the females, 2 emerging females right now.
Okay.
There is a female right now who has the world wondering. Her name is Tandagod. 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 All right. On September the 23rd, Tandagod released her project X Wood Pack. X Wood Pack. That's the name of her project. On September 23rd, she dropped it. So Tandagod was on a podcast hosted by a gentleman named Kid L. And on the podcast, Tandagod talks about being in an abusive relationship and killing her ex-boyfriend. Okay? So Tandagod says, basically, we're going to find out, am I going to be free or am I going to jail? But I killed him. He was threatening me, beating me, threatening my family. So what else was I to do but to take his life? But she also, in her project, talks about killing her ex-boyfriend. And for those who don't know, the cover of her project is a picture of her hugging her boyfriend with his head smoking. And people who are familiar with hip-hop know when you say I'm smoking on a bird pack, that means I took your life or I ended your career. So how do you feel about Tandagod, if this is true, her making her life situation art? Or do you feel like this is a troll?
I feel like it's a troll. I feel like she's ratchet. I feel like she's a troll. And to me, it's like she should look at and take example of what Murder on My Mind is doing to Melly.
Okay.
Because I mean, here he is. Luckily, like I said, luckily the state of Florida is not allowing them to use those lyrics against him in his case. But whatever state she's in, have they brought charges up against her for this, or is she just
okay? So she's saying her court date was September the 23rd, but for some reason he has been able to keep her government name offline. But I've been online for the past 5 days trying to find this woman and find, because I don't, she's from Detroit, or she's from California and resides in Detroit, or I'm not sure, but I can't find anything. I can't find anybody posting any results of court. She's posting on Instagram, but she's not talking about, what happened in court. You know what I'm saying? She's just, to me, really, really milking this situation.
Well, maybe she really has paid attention to the Melly case, and she, in her mind, maybe something clicked to troll on that type of narrative to bring just attention to herself. Maybe she wasn't getting attention in a positive light, so she thought maybe she could get it in a negative light. Maybe there is truth to it, but I feel like if there was truth to it, there would be some kind of something. It's the internet. I mean, somebody would have reported and got in there, and it would be out there by now, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like the fact that major outlets haven't touched on this story, maybe it's a troll. But I ain't gonna lie, she got me good because we're talking about it. Look, and it's so much of a potential troll. It's a 5-song project. The names of her first, I'm gonna list her song titles. He Said I'm Cold. Fuck that. Nigga Ain't Mine. That's my ex pack, and I need therapy. And like I said, the picture is her straddling her ex-boyfriend and smoking a big blunt, but the blunt is his head.
Yeah, it sounds like is her ex in fact dead? Have we confirmed this fact?
No one even knows who her ex is.
Yeah, it's a troll. It's definitely a troll. She just obviously couldn't get attention any well, and I honestly feel that she took this play out of Melly's book. I think she probably seen the trial and the attention that song brought for him, and I think that she thought that she would troll on that and try to play on that. That's the vibe I get personally.
Okay, now speaking of trolls and female rappers, before we talked about Melly, there's a Houston rapper by the name of Sky the Finest. Okay. Some months back, early in this year, Sky the Finest released a freestyle. And in her freestyle, she talks about being with a guy, basically going to his house, and he thought he was finna get some of the cooch. And she called her partners, and they came in and robbed him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She also, so now
You see why I don't listen to female rappers? They're ratchet as fuck, Vic. They're ratchet.
So look, so now there are videos of Sky's Finest in the hospital. She has been supposedly caught by the guy and shot in the face for retribution for getting him robbed.
You know, there's great makeup artists out of there. I wonder if we can find reports on this shooting.
That again, like with Tandagod, I haven't found any incident reports, any police reports, but there are videos of her in the hospital with what appears to be a bullet wound in her face, and she's twerking. She looks to be the happiest person I've ever seen to be shot in the face.
Sounds like to me the bitch got her a hospital gown, went over to Granny's where the hospital bed is, and got a makeup artist, and she's wilding out.
Yeah. Matter of fact, she posted all this on TikTok, all this on Instagram. Basically, she took the IG via her hospital bed, rocking a link chain. Obviously, the chain is supposed to be what was stolen from the guy, and she began making light of the circumstances that she's in about being shot in the face, and basically saying, "You didn't take my life. You failed." So she's mocking the person for not killing her.
Sounds to me like she's trying to. If it is true, like she's signing her own death certificate. If you ask me.
Yeah, and like I say, I don't know if these two women, Sky Finest and Tandagod, if they're taking situations, trolling us, and trying to make their project sell. So I don't know if they're creating these situations for clout.
Yeah, I definitely don't see no longevity to careers. I think they're just a couple of ratchet bitches trying to make a quick buck off of. Like I said, it just sounds like to me they're taking plays out of real situations that have happened to other people, and they're trying to capitalize on that with their self and a troll. That's what it sounds like to me. Because I'm sorry, there would be information out there about this. Like, I would see no jumper or somebody reporting on this if it was true and confirmed.
Well, guess what? Ridin Durty, me and you, we gonna give them a little shine because, hey man, I don't know if they're telling the truth or not, but if they're even lying, just the fact that they use misfortune for a marketing scheme shows you where hip hop is now compared to where it used to be. We went from parents just don't understand to rappers talking about getting shot in the face and killing their ex-boyfriend.
Oh man, yeah. You proved my point why I don't listen to female rappers.
All right, now keeping on the subject of hip hop and how far hip hop has came. One of the greatest hip hop movies ever is 8 Mile. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. All
right, and I'm sad to announce that one of the cast members of 8 Mile, who goes by the name of Lotto, you might remember Lotto. He was the guy who actually beat Eminem. Actually, I can't remember if he beat Eminem, but he was the guy who he battled Eminem, and he's the one he ended his round with "fuck you and have a nice day." And he kind of pulled his pants down and told Eminem to kiss his butt, something like that. He has he's one of the few rappers to ever beat Eminem in a battle.
I think in the movie he played the aspiring rapper B Rabbit.
No, Eminem was B Rabbit.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Eminem was B Rabbit, but B Rabbit, used
Lotto,
to be in these battles, okay. And Lotto was one of the guys who he went against. Well, I'm sad to say that Lotto, also known as Nation Breadlove, has died at age 46. He was found dead in his apartment. It hasn't been confirmed whether it was natural causes or foul play, but he has transitioned at the age of 46, and he's known for that, his role in 8 Mile as Lotto. Nation Breadlove is his name, and his rap name was Ox. He also can be heard, if you want to hear his music, when Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg redid the movie Car Wash, and it's just called The Wash. He appeared on that soundtrack. So if anybody want to do their Googles and check Ox out, check out that soundtrack, and that was his only commercial release that I could find. But
yeah, I think it was the DJ Pooh joint that he wrote and recorded.
yeah.
No,
So
DJ Pooh was the film. Okay, yeah.
rest in peace to Nashawn Breadlove, aka Lotto from 8 Mile, 46 years old. That's young.
That is very young.
So, all right, we're gonna keep it moving. Speaking of situations going on, man, I gotta say, get well soon to Krayzie Bone. Have you heard about what's going on with Krayzie
Oh
Bone?
my gosh, yes. Apparently, see, he's had this condition for a while. It's called sarcoidosis, I think is maybe how you pronounce, and it's an inflammatory disease in which the immune system overreacts, and it causes groups of cells to form clusters and inflamed tissues that they call granulomas in the organs of the body, most commonly the lungs. And I heard that he was spitting up blood, for a few days, and then when he went to the emergency room and they did surgery to correct it, like they couldn't stop the bleeding. So he has a leaky artery in one of his lungs that they tried to prepare, but I think that the doctors couldn't stop that bleeding. So I hope they figure out a way to resolve what that problem is. And yeah, praise to, that's my favorite Bone member, man. Like, I hope he really pulls through this. I would hate for us to lose another great such as Krayzie Bone.
Yeah, from some of the reports I've been seeing, um, I've been seeing people saying he's doing better. So, everybody in the community, let's continue to uplift him and pray for him, because it would be tragic to lose one of the founding members of the legendary group Bone. I'd never heard
Yeah.
of that.
He when he was on Drink Champs, he actually told the story about when Eazy-E finally returned their phone call, and he was actually the one that got on the phone with Eazy-E and spit the rap that got them sent out to California and signed and stuff. So if it wasn't for him able to do that, then we may have never even known who Bone Thugs was.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is the one member of Bone who has had the larger amount of success as a solo artist. Because, if people don't know, Bone all went, Lazy, Krazie, and Busy all embarked on solo careers. And he's been the most successful one because
Mm-hmm.
he done songs with the huge song, Ridin Durty. He done that with Chameleonaire. He also was featured on a big record with Lil Jon, which featured him and Mystical and Ludacris, the I Don't Give a Fuck record. So he's a major part in hip hop history, not only as a member of Bone, but as a solo artist.
Absolutely. And to me, like when they did the verses, it was really good to see Bone back on stage together, even despite all the fuck shit that they had going on with 3-6 Mafia. And I watched that verses probably 6 times before I myself declared a winner. But to me, I feel like 3-6 had to bring in so many of their featured artists who they had, Lil Wayne and all kind of people on stage. But for Bone, they couldn't bring in, they brought in Chameleonaire and Lil Jon, but really their most famous featured artists were Eazy-E and Tupac. And of course, they've been gone for a long time now. So they weren't able to feature them on stage, but they still held their own. And that's why, to me, I crown Bone the winner, because they didn't have to pull out all that flashy shit to do their thing.
I'm sorry, bro. I gotta disagree with you.
That's fine. A lot of people do. A lot of people do.
I'm from the South, and I'm sorry. 3-6 Mafia uses 3-6 Mafia is probably one of the reasons I have a Napoleon complex, and I'm so aggressive.
I love 3-6. I mean, I live in Tennessee. How could I not? Like I said, I had to watch it 6 times, but really, I just left it up to the fact that I felt, that 3-6 had to bring in a lot of their featured artists in that, to where Bone couldn't, and they still really did a fantastic job. So I have to go with Bone on that. But I mean, I feel you. I love me some 3-6 Marvin. I love me some I love them. I like DJ Jazzy Jeff. I love them all. But
now, again,
Jazzy, I mean Jay, DJ Juicy J. We were talking about freaking Will Smith, but yeah, Juicy J. I love Juicy J and DJ Paul. So
Hey,
And I'm loving the fact that they're on tour with fucking Jelly Roll. Like, I love that he's finally bringing the homeboys in on his success. I knew that he would. A lot of people didn't think that he would, but I love the fact that he's proven everybody wrong on that.
And you know what's funny about that you mentioned that? And Jelly Roll could hold a grudge because they sure hell didn't bring Jelly Roll on their success.
They sure didn't. They didn't. They didn't. You're right. You're right.
Jelly Roll, he could give them the big middle finger right now.
He could. That's not how. I've been rocking with Jelly Roll since he, 09 when he was selling shirts and CDs out the trunk. So like I about cry every time I see him on stage, at these award shows and shit. When he did the Opry, oh my God, like I cried right along with him. Like I have a lot of respect for Jelly Roll.
Yeah, Jelly Roll is part of my story too. I actually had an opportunity to meet Jelly Roll when he was an independent artist, and he would make trips to Atlanta selling those shirts and those CDs.
Oh yeah, the first time I seen him, I think, was 2016 in Knoxville, and he brought. I remember, like we hadn't even got into the venue yet. We were just walking up to the doors, and here he comes walking beside us, and he's like, "What's up, y'all?" And he give like everybody in the place a pizza. And I think my cousin still has that pizza in his freezer to this day. It was just like, he is such a down-to-earth guy. And that's when tickets were $10, $5 and $10 a piece. Last time I went and seen Jelly, I paid a good 40 piece for the ticket in Chattanooga, but I don't care. I would pay whatever. Like, he really does a good show.
Yeah, he sells out every time he comes to Atlanta. Now, you can't get a no Jelly Roll show for no 40 piece now.
Oh, I know. This was right when Save Me had went platinum. I don't even think we'll see him at the small venues like I seen him at last. Like that will never happen again, and I'm glad to have been a part of that.
Okay. Last subject, and we're gonna close it out. And I saved this for last because I know this is something that you've been covering and is near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely.
YNW Melly.
Yes, sir.
It was a mistrial.
It was a mistrial, and he's been trying to get on bond. They're filing motions after motions after motions, trying to let him out on bond. I think the main reason that he is not really even eligible for bond, like they had to have a special hearing, is because of the death penalty that's tied to his case. If you have a death penalty tied to your case, typically you are not eligible for bond. To where, see, his co-defendant actually is out on bond and has actually broken the terms of his bond agreement several times, but is still out on bond. But they don't have the death penalty tried with his case. Actually, if they dropped the death penalty to Melly's case, that they would be tried together. But I don't think that the lawyers really want that, because like they're not really blaming YNW Bortland, but at the same time it leaves that option more open for them with them not being tried together. And before the trial, honestly, Vic, before the trial, I would have said that the man was guilty. But I can't say here today and say that he's not. I don't know, but I will say that the prosecution cannot prove it, or have not this far.
In your personal opinion, do you think Melly should be at home?
Yes, I think he should be eligible for bond. Yes. I mean, and I like Boosie and shit, and I like Quando Rondo, but they were all had arrested at the same time, and even to me, more shit, like, well, I won't say worse because it wasn't double murder, but I feel that, I don't see where for a judge that it's hard to grant bond with for people with that much money and connections. It would be very easy for them to skip bond. But especially after it was declared a mistrial, I think he should absolutely been released on house arrest, bond, or something along those. I really do.
All right, now going back to how we started the show, I love to make it full circle. How much do you think his subject matter has played into this entire situation when it comes to his music?
Well, luckily, the state of Florida is not allowing them to use his lyrics against him in the court of law, which I think is probably good. I think that's probably works in his favor to where if you go and look at the Young Thug trial, Atlanta absolutely is letting them use Young Thug's lyrics against him, which is another man that has not been granted bond. Where that was a RICO case, which I think Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the few states that has state RICO cases. That's normally a federal thing. But there's a lot of people that were on that case with him that they did let out on bond. But Thugger's been in there going on 3 years now. They've been doing jury selection since January, and he still hasn't got his trial. If it's something in the court system that's preventing that trial from proceeding or whatever, I think that he too should be granted bond if he has not had any previous instances that will say that he may jump bond or go out and coerce witnesses or whatever. They have no proof of anything like that. So why YNW Melly and Young Thugger are being held for? I mean, YNW Melly's been in jail going on 4 years now, and it now has a mistrial. The jury couldn't decide, and to me, the prosecution did not prove their case without a shadow of a doubt. A lot of their witnesses were easily discredited. But then you got Quando Rondo down in Savannah, who they say is the big Crip leader and shit, getting granted bond like that. Boozy, how many cases has he had? And even the FBI stepped in and tried to prevent from him getting bond on his case that he just had in California, but it ultimately still he got out on bond and took the lawyers to the BET Award. Like he wilding. So I don't see the differences in these rappers' cases to why they're holding down Thugger and YNW Melly and not giving them, the option to be out on bond, awaiting their trials, but everybody else gets bond.
Well, I'm gonna say this: the DA in Atlanta is on a mission, and I think she's in the process of making a political run. So she's using these high-profile cases to probably help that political run. So
absolutely, and that's wrong. That's wrong to me. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Everybody knows I'm a big Young Thug fan. I don't care about the honey bun on the bed. I don't know if anybody knows if they get that. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I don't care. Like, I still think as a person, it's wrong for them to hold him this long awaiting trial when it's y'all that can't get your shit together and proceed with this trial.
No doubt. All right, Bird, we're going to close it out. I want to close this segment out. And this, me and what I do. I'm always trying to uplift artists and give people or artists they might not know about that they can check out. So absolutely. I would like to end every single show with a artist spotlight or a person you need to check out. So who is the artist that they need to check out this week?
Dumb Genius out of Houston. Absolutely. He also goes by the name Q-Stick. He's in a group with King Jut and Key 100. They have a group called the Houstonian Henchmen. They got a lot of dope music. Gene is so versatile when it comes to his music, and I think he puts out a lot of great hits. And people should definitely go over and check him out.
Where can people find him on YouTube?
Dumb_Gene_us. Dumb Gene us. But it's dumb_Gene GENE_us.
All right. And I'm gonna be honest, I think Dumb Genius is a very, very prolific MC. His style is different.
Bars for days.
He has bars, and what I like about Gene and his music is he's kind of like a blend of the old and the new. When you hear him rhyme, you can hear his respect and admiration for old school flows and delivery, but his content is today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love the way he's able to mix the old and the new. He's definitely a student of the game.
Absolutely. And he's worked with a lot of great artists too in his time, even as like the late Pokey. Him and Jut did some music with him, R.I.P. Pokey.
Okay. Bert, before we get up out of here, how can these people find you on a regular?
Boss Lady Bird on the YouTube. Just look up Boss Lady Bird. I'll come right up.
All right, Bert. And for those who don't know, because Bert is sitting here being very, very modest, All my independent artists are checking out this stream, who are checking out this show. Man, y'all make sure y'all hit up Boss Lady Bird. She has the best music stream on these YouTube streets.
Only next to you, Vic. Only next to you.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, speaking of stream, Bird streams daily. There's a stream called The Duel. If you're an artist out there and you like to get exposure to your music, we do The Duel Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. But Bird has a show called The Duel Pre-Show at 5 p.m. So make sure you check out Bird's pre-duel show. Make sure you check out The Duel, and make sure y'all check out Boss Lady Bird. Bird, I got
artists can send me their music at birdbuzz85@gmail.com.
Okay, Bird, before I let you go, you are a truth teller. You are a woman who speaks the truth, right?
Yes, sir. That's what my mama taught me.
How did we do?
I think we did fantastic.
Okay. All right. All
Go
right.
ahead.
Bird.
No, go ahead. I was going to say we didn't have a lot of pauses where we were sitting there like thinking, there wasn't a lot of dead air between us. So I think that we flowed very nicely.
I got to say, shout out Mama Bird. Mama Bird, you did an amazing job on this one.
Thank you. Thank you, Vic.
All right, Bird, till next time.
Yes, sir.
I got to tell the people, remember, time is something you cannot get back. And if you spent any amount of time listening to me and Bird give y'all this hip-hop news, we both completely appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Y'all have a great day or night.
Yeah.
Peace.